Hello everyone, welcome to this new moon in Pisces Yin flow. So briefly just wanted to cover the energy of the new moon and the energy of Pisces. The new moon is kind of that break right before the dawn. It's this period of stillness right before the lunar cycle starts accumulating energy, before the moon starts gathering light. And it's a unique opportunity because the sun and the moon, representing the conscious and the subconscious mind, are in the same sign. So they're speaking the same language. And so this really helps bring our subconscious and our conscious in alignment. And so it's an opportunity where we're able to see what in our subconscious mind or our belief system or patterns is limiting us from taking initiative or taking action towards the things that we desire and the things that we need. So it's really a time to bring these things to consciousness and then release them and purify them. The sign of Pisces it signals the completion of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac, and it's symbolized by two fish swimming in opposite directions. So this actually symbolizes the spirit evolving the spiritual realm, and then the human evolving in the physical realm. It represents this infinite duality. And it can be a time of heightened sort of intuition and sensitivity because Pisces knows what it's like to come from source and from this pure compassion and love. And so it seeks to escape the physical world, which is why it's also really important to purify even more so, and to connect with our emotions and to release them. And that's what we're going to do in this yin flow, because we're going to focus on the immune system and getting our lymph flowing, as well as doing a bit of foot stretching, because Pisces rules the feet and the immune system. So we're going to start with a little breath exercise. First of all, just want to make sure you have a pillow and a blanket near you for this practice. I'll give you the option of also ending the practice with legs up the wall. So if you do have a wall near you, then that would be great. I don't really, so I'm just going to give you that option. So make sure you blow your nose if you have a runny nose at all. We're going to do Nadi Shodhana, which is also commonly called alternate nostril breathing. And this essentially brings our yin and our yang, our sun and our moon, into balance, because it works on the yin and the yang lines in our body and the energy of the sun and the moon, essentially. So when you're ready, you're going to take your thumb finger and your index finger, or sorry, your middle finger, and you're going to plug your right nostril with your thumb and exhale out of the left nostril. And then taking an inhale through the left nostril, plugging the left nostril, exhaling out of the right nostril. Inhale right, plug right, exhale left. Inhale left, plug left, exhale right. So moving on your own rhythm here, we're going to do this for another 2 or so minutes. Inhale right, plug, exhale left. Maybe closing the eyes to help you concentrate. making sure your lips are closed, so you're breathing fully through your nose. Feel the calming and balancing effect of this breath. More seconds to go. Make them as deep as you can. Finishing on the left side. And releasing hold of your nose. Just taking a moment to feel the effects of this breath. Hopefully you feel calmer and more balanced than when we first started. And opening the eyes slowly and then making our way down onto our backs. Bringing the knees into the chest, into happy baby. Bringing the arms inside the legs and then grabbing a hold of the outside of the feet with your hands. You can also grab a hold of your big toe with your index finger on both feet if that feels more comfortable for you. And taking some time here just to slightly rock back and forth, massaging the lower spine, inviting some gentle movement. Maybe stretching one leg out straight. Making sure your breath is still deep. And then the other leg, if that feels good for you. And then bringing both knees into the chest. Planting the feet down for a second, lifting the hips and walking them over to the left side a little bit, bringing the knees up to the chest again and bringing them over to the right side. Walking that right shoulder over a little bit, and maybe turning the head to face to the left side, making sure both shoulders are on the mat. If you need support, you could put a blanket under your left shoulder if it's lifting up. We're going to stay here for a little bit, really breathing deeply into the belly. By doing this, we're detoxing our organs. Hi, Daisy. Daisy really wants to snuggle right now. Again, returning to that deep breath and breathing into the belly. More seconds here before we switch sides. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then slowly bringing the knees back to center. Walking the hips over to the right side. And bringing the knees over to the left side. Walking that left shoulder over so that the right shoulder's flat on the ground and looking over to the right side. Again, breathing deeply into the belly here, massaging the internal organs, assisting with the detoxification and circulation. And then slowly coming back to center. And rocking up to a seated position. Trying not to crush your cat if she's on your mat like mine is. And sitting in butterfly position, so bringing the feet, the soles of the feet to face each other. If you want more of a groin stretch, you can bring the feet in closer to the groin. Or if you want more of an outer groin, an outer leg stretch, then bringing them out further in front of you. So it depends on what you're feeling. Taking a deep breath in here. You might want your pillow nearby. So first of all, giving ourselves a little foot massage here to activate the kidney meridian that starts right below the big toe. There's that the bone there underneath your big toe, like the big toe knuckle. You're going to press gently right underneath that bone and just do little circles, massaging it gently. That's where our kidney meridian starts. And so this is going to help the energy move through that meridian and help the kidneys function properly to detoxify. And then maybe just gently massaging the arches of your feet. And then when you're ready, taking a deep breath in here. Exhaling and slowly just arching the spine and folding forward. Maybe placing that pillow in your lap so that you can gently drape over it. In Yin Yoga, we're not really engaging anything too much. We're not being super active. It's very passive because we're trying to really relax the muscles so that we can get into the connective tissue and allow the energy to flow through the body. So we're looking for some level of discomfort, but no pain. So if you ever feel pain, please come out of the pose. We're going to be here for about 1.5 minutes still. So whenever you're feeling discomfort, just come back to your breath. This pose is helping to stimulate the bladder meridian, another organ that helps us detoxify. Taking a few last deep breaths here. And then slowly walking ourselves back up. Removing the pillow. And finding your way into a tabletop position for cat and cow. Just going to invite a little bit of movement here. Making sure all 10 fingers are firmly rooted on the floor. Your knees are under the hips. Inhaling, dropping the belly, opening up the chest, looking up. Exhaling, arching the spine. Looking towards the navel, cat position. Moving with your breath, inhaling cow, exhaling cat. And if it feels good, maybe doing some circles with your torso. Dropping down and then over to the left and up to the right. Switching directions. Coming back to a neutral position. And lifting up into a downward facing dog. slowly pedaling the feet, one and then the other. Massaging the soles of the feet like this. Maybe lifting one leg up and then the other. And slowly dropping down into a toe pose. So just going to stretch the toes a little bit here. If your knees are sensitive, you might want to grab a blanket and just put it under your knees. But otherwise, coming with me, tucking the toes underneath you, and then slowly sitting back on the feet. Trying to really open up in the bottoms of the feet here. And stretching all 10 toes. This can be quite intense for some people, so we won't be here for very long. Just 30 more seconds or so. Come back to your breath if you're feeling any discomfort. And then slowly releasing the feet, tops of the feet flat on the ground, knees spread apart a little bit, and dropping down into child's position. So the chest is open towards the ground, the belly sinking down, arms stretched out in front of you with the palms down. Taking a deep breath here. Exhaling, just resetting a little bit. With your next inhale, slowly walk yourself back up, coming into Virasana with an ankle stretch. So keeping the tops of the feet flat on the ground, but sitting back down onto the feet. If you feel any pinching this pose, please come out. We don't want to feel any pain in the knees, especially, and not in the ankles either. But we're going to drop the hands behind us, palms or fingers facing forward, and then slowly bend into the elbows and just lift the knees off the floor gently, feeling the stretch in the tops of the ankles and the tops of the feet. Coming back to your breath. Sending oxygen and healing energy to wherever you're feeling the tension. And then slowly straightening the arms and coming back forward. Lifting up into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is really great for lymphatic drainage because we're upside down. Maybe pedaling the feet again to stretch the ankles. And then slowly walking our way forward with our feet meeting our hands. coming into dangling pose. So you might want to bend your knees slightly here. Hips are, or legs are hip width apart. And then dropping the whole top body down, the arms just dangling down, maybe swaying back and forth a little bit to really release in the neck and the shoulders and the arms. If you're feeling a lot of tension in the backs of the legs, just bend your knees as deep as you need. Resting the belly on the thighs. Again, it's meant to be very passive, not active. And then if you're able, maybe bring your hands underneath your feet, so just to massage the feet and the hands together. So putting the palms face up underneath your feet. You're really bending down as far as you need to get there. Massaging the wrists like this, as well as the acupressure points on the bottom of the feet. And then slowly releasing one hand and the other. Walking the feet out a little bit, as wide as the mat or so. Pointing them out on a 45-degree angle and perhaps placing your pillow behind you, because we're going to come into Malasana or yogi squat. So slowly rolling up, vertebrae by vertebrae. The neck comes up last. Maybe doing a gentle circle with the neck, one way, and then the other. And then bringing the hands to heart center. Slowly lowering down into a squat. The knees over the ankles. And if you don't need your pillow here, if you can go down further, you can remove it. Keeping a straight spine here and pressing the hands together to push the knees apart, making it a little bit more of an active Malasana. Coming back to the breath again. On your next inhale, opening up, sinking the left shoulder down. I'm just going to face you so you can see. Sinking the left shoulder down to the left knee. And then opening the right arm up. And looking up perhaps if that feels good for you. Breathing into this twist. Massaging the internal organs. On your your next exhale, come back to center and do the other side. The left arm lifting up. Just a few more breaths here. And coming back to center. And then slowly, with your hands at heart center, folding forward and lifting into that standing forward fold, bringing the feet together a little bit closer, releasing the arms down into a dangling pose. So again, quite passive here. Breathing and directing the oxygen and the energy from your breath to any areas of tension. I know the backs of my legs are pretty tight. You might be feeling it there, or it might be in your lower back. However, you don't want to feel any pinching. So if you are, you can just come out of the pose and come into a child's position. Making sure your neck is relaxed and the shoulders are away from the ears. And on your next inhale, stepping back into a downward facing dog. Again, pedaling the feet. And then stepping, maybe lifting the right leg up, and then stepping it forward into our low dragon. So dropping that left knee on the mat. You might want a blanket under your knee if your knees are sensitive. Inhaling here, opening up the chest, making sure your knee is over the ankle. And maybe you stay here. Again, have your pillow close by. If it feels comfortable for you, you can lower down onto your elbows and bring the pillow to rest your forehead on. Or you can just rest it in your hands, if that's possible for you. Breathing deeply into that left hip flexor. Coming back to your breath anytime you feel tension. And slowly lifting up to your hands if you were on your elbows. Walking the right foot out a little bit, pointing the feet out on a 45-degree angle, flexing the toes back to protect the knee, and then opening up the knee to the right side. You might be okay on your hands, or again, you might decide to lower yourself down onto your elbows. Again, coming back to your breath here. Keeping the right toes flexed slightly just to protect the knee. And then walking up to your hands. Lifting into a three-legged down dog. Maybe opening up that hip to the right side. And then bending the left knee down. Sorry, I lost my earbud. So bringing it up, the foot goes outside of the mat on the right side, and then bringing the right knee behind the left knee. So the feet are splaying out. We're coming into shoelace, or in Yang yoga, it's called cow face. Maybe I'll face you just so you can see what I'm doing, but you might want to bring your pillow behind you. And then gently lower yourself down. Making sure the knees are stacked as much as possible. And the feet are out to the side on a 45-degree angle or so. Again, if you feel any pinching in the knees or the lower back or anything like that, then please come out of the pose, come into child's position. Flexing your feet slightly to protect the knees. Breathing deeply here. And if it feels comfortable for you, slowly starting to fold over the legs. If it doesn't feel comfortable, then just stay seated. If you find that you can go deeper and you don't need that pillow underneath you, always remove it. Coming back to your breath once again. And slowly walking yourself up. Bringing the left hand out to the left side. Bending that left elbow. And side bending to the left side with the right arm overhead. Breathing deeply into the right side. And then coming over to the right side, left arm overhead. Inhaling back up. Slowly bringing the knees up, lifting yourself to stand, and then spinning to the right side, back, and coming back to the front with your right knee over the left. It's just a fancy way of getting into the other side. If that was too confusing, you can just slowly untangle your legs and come back into shoelace with the right leg over the left. So again, making sure your feet are a little bit flexed to protect the knees. Taking a deep breath here, lengthening the spine. And then if it feels comfortable for you, slowly coming forward. Making sure to use your pillow if you need it. Coming back to your breath and directing it towards the tension. Just 30 more seconds here. On your next inhale, slowly walking yourself back up. Walking the right arm out to the right side, bending into that elbow. Lifting the left arm overhead. Breathing deeply into the left side of the body. Just a few more breaths on this side. And slowly coming up on your next inhale and going over to the left side. coming up on your next inhale. And then from this position, slowly lifting up, stepping the left foot back and the right foot back into a downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up, stepping it forward where your left hand was, and lowering the right knee down into dragon. Maybe folding over the mat or using a blanket if your right knee is sensitive. Inhaling here. And then on the exhale, if it feels comfortable for you, coming down onto your elbows. Again, maybe using a pillow. Breathing deeply into the hip flexor. Sending energy towards any tension you might be feeling. And if something is coming to mind, try to release it. If those barriers that might be limiting you are coming to mind, imagine them detoxifying through this process. And slowly lifting back up, walking that left foot out a little bit on a 45-degree angle, pulling the toes back to protect the knee, and then slowly coming back down. With the knee out to the side. Just 30 more seconds here. On your next inhale, slowly walking the hands back up. And then coming back into downward dog, lifting the left leg up, opening up the hip to the left, placing the foot back down, and then coming into Shavasana. And if you want to do legs up the wall to finish your practice, move towards the wall. So legs up the wall is a really great inversion to really help calm us, tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, and also help with that lymphatic drainage from the feet and the ankles and the legs. So if you'd like to do that, just make sure that your legs are up against the wall, so you're moving your butt towards the wall, and then you're just going to try to relax the legs as much as possible and stay here for at least 10 minutes or so. And otherwise, if you're not going to do that, you can just come into Shavasana. Make sure you really release and wiggle out any tension. With your palms facing up, a 45-degree angle away from the body. The feet flop out to the sides of the mat. And you feel warm light wash over you, starting at your toes. As it touches your toes, you release any tension. Moving up to your ankles, shins and calves. Releasing any tension you might be holding on to. Up to your knees and the backs of the knees. Thighs and glutes sinking into the mat. Pressing against the wall. Your hips feeling open and feeling heavy. Your lower back releasing into the mat. Your belly and ribs dropping towards the spine. Feeling your chest get heavy, drop towards the mat. And the shoulders melt into the mat. Feeling your upper arms, elbows, forearms relax with this warm light. And your hands melt into the mat. Feeling the back of the neck long and relaxed. The jaw slightly parted. Your lips slightly parted. Your facial muscles relax. And your eyes drop into the sockets. Your brow bone relaxes. And your forehead, scalp, and ears. Take some time to stay in this pose, and if you are doing legs up the wall, it's best to do it for at least 10 minutes. Make sure you take time to do the Pisces new moon meditation, maybe even in a bath, to help you really cultivate and flow with cosmic energy. Thank you for joining.